We've had cloudy days here for about a week, really unusual. Normally we get, a day or two of grey skies and then it's back to sunshine. But a good week or so of really cloudy days. It's also been pretty windy, but the wind's dropped today. And I was thinking, what's a good subject on a cloudy day? Waterfalls. We don't have a lot of natural waterfalls here, but we've got the cascades along the Vinalopo River and also up at the dam at Elche. So I've come out to the Vinalopo River first, and I'm going to have a little play around here, see what I can find. Maybe some abstracty type stuff, I don't know yet, we'll have to see. And then maybe, depending on what happens with the sky as we get a bit later on this afternoon, I might consider going up to the dam and seeing what the situation is like up there. I hope you'll enjoy the video. If you do, and you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. Okay, I've decided to try and get a shot of that little bit of a cascade that you can probably see up there. So I can't get very close to it. Well, I probably could if I was clambering over these rocks here, but actually I don't really want to because I want to compress some perspective. So actually shooting zoomed right in, almost right in on the 55 to 200. So that I'm probably shooting at about 300 mil. And I've got it's actually a variable ND filter on. So I want an exposure of around about 1/3 of a second. So I'm going to dial that in, F11, and I'm just going to dial off this variable ND until I get a good exposure. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Okay, let's give it a go. And then what I'm going to do now is dial in a bit more of the ND filter to get an exposure of about a second. There, and then we'll take that. And that's one image shot. Don't know if it's any good or not, but we'll see. And I'm going to have a look and see what else I can do. Okay, so I've only moved the tripod about 2 feet. And I think I've got a scene here that I quite like. What we've got down here is the cascade comes down, and where it hits the wall, it then curves and kind of creates a cross flow. That's creating a nice intersection, and I think that might look quite interesting. I'm also just trying to bring in a little bit of the wall with the green algae on. Don't want too much of that wall in, just a hint. And again, I'm going to start off with a 0.3 or 1/3 of a second exposure. and see what that looks like. Then I'll dial in a bit more of the variable ND and try maybe a 0.6 and maybe a 1 second. And then I can either just use one of those, or if I feel that I prefer a smoother image but maybe just a little bit of added texture, I can always do a bit of blending. Okay, that's 0.3. Let's dial in 0.6 and then adjust the variable ND filter until that works. And then we'll take that shot. And then I'm going to go for a 1 second as well. So dial in 1 second. And then dial in a bit more ND filter. So the histogram looks good. And away we go. I might try one a bit more zoomed in actually, just a little bit more. Now zoomed in a bit more, taking out the wall, and again, same process, 1/3 of a second. And then what we'll do is dial in 0.6 of a second, adjust the variable ND, so we've got a good exposure. Like that one. And then we'll go for 1 second. Just the ND. We'll see what that works like. So I bought this variable ND filter for video, but I thought I'd try it out for this, and it's actually really useful for playing around with exposure times. Just gives whole new options. Okay, so I've come up to this much larger cascade. It's the largest one along this section of river. The only one that's bigger than this is actually at the dam, which I may be going to later, we'll see. The temptation is to just fill the frame with the whole thing, but I've done that before. So what I'm doing is I'm aiming for just some detail parts of it, and there's quite a large kind of cascade that runs up with rocks either side, which has got that green algae on, and then there's all sort of spray up the top, and then the bigger cascade, or the straight cascade coming in from above. So that's the way I've got it set up, with a vertical orientation. And what I'm trying to do is avoid having foliage coming into the scene, because if the foliage is moving, that's going to be a problem with a longer exposure. You can see what I've got here is this line goes up here of the water, the rocks on either side, and that cascade up the top. I'm doing the same thing with this as I did with the others. I've got the variable ND filter on, and it's dialed in to give me a 1/3 of a second exposure. So we'll shoot that. That looks pretty nice. There is actually a little tiny bit of foliage creeping in at the top there, but I'll probably just clone that out. Okay, so now let's try for a 0.6 of a second. So we'll adjust the ND filter. Yeah. About there. And shoot that. And then we'll go for a 1 second exposure. I don't think more than 1 second is worthwhile, to be honest. And again, we'll see what each one looks like and whether I want to just use one of them or blend them. Okay, so I've come to the other side of the river, just a short drive, park up in a different car park, and now I'm wandering through this little trail that I think is about 20 minutes walk from where I've parked the car through to basically to the dam where the big cascade is. Now the clouds are clearing a little bit, but I'm not sure that they're clearing in the direction of sunset, unfortunately. So I don't know, we might be lucky. What we'll do is head up to the dam, and then I'm going to see if I can find maybe something a bit different compositionally to shoot if we get a decent sunset that will make use of it. Just a nice little walk though through here. Okay, made it up to the dam with the big cascade. If you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll be familiar with this because I've been here a lot of times. Still a lot of heavy cloud over that way, which is the direction of sunset, so over to the left of the dam from where we're viewing it now. I'm not sure we're going to get anything great, but well, you know, you never know. But even if we don't get a fantastic sunset, those clouds offer maybe some opportunities if I can find the right composition. So I'm going to take a walk down and then probably go up higher to get a view down onto the dam, or at least across it, and see if there's something that's worth hanging around for. And now the climb up. Ugh. Okay, I've set a composition up. I'm using this building down here as a bit of foreground interest. It's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it works. A little bit of graffiti will come out in post. That provides a lead into the waterfall, up to the cascade, up to the mountains, and then the sky. Got the variable ND filter on. We're getting some tones over there. They're not spectacular, but they look quite nice. I've adjusted the ND filter, still keeping a 1 second exposure. Okay, the light's gone and the colours that we did get have faded. I'm pretty sure we've had the best of this, so hopefully it will have worked out okay. Started off with some abstract close-up images of waterfalls, finished off with this big wide scene, and hopefully a nice sunset scene overlooking here. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a like, share it on social media. Don't forget to leave me a comment. If you're new here and you've enjoyed this, don't forget to hit subscribe before you go. And as always, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch, so thank you very much. And until the next video, bye.